Yeah, all right, everybody. Pardon my absolutely horrid voice tonight as I work through this little cold that I've got brewing here. But welcome. It is week 4. We are currently at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca in California. And I am so excited to see how this race gets handled tonight. Lots of familiar faces. It's going to be a good time. Um, so, yeah, let's jump into it and see what everybody's doing. So we've currently got a field of 2, 7, 8, 15 drivers. Corey Abbott, Jimmy Hayden, Kerry Brooks, Leighton Norgard, Brian Beeman, Andrew Hardcastle, Logan Key, Ben Miller, Will Rempe, Harrison Ellis, Jeffrey Oakes, Joe Gregory, Kyle Fostermore, Chris Schusler, and Brandon Ritchie. Been on the track tonight. I think Brandon just joined, eked it in here right at the end, so good for him. Everybody chilling in the pits, it looks like, actually. Most of the people are, actually, so they're probably getting their drinks and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of a driver's briefing here. Checking out Jimmy's rocket ship. He's definitely not unknown to folks that were involved in the shenanigans over at Downshift, but this would be his first race for Six Sigma, currently sitting on the boards in P2. Looking to have himself one heck of a race tonight. All right, drivers. We wind down in the final about 4, maybe 5 minutes or so left of practice here. Just gonna go over a couple things for race control, or for driver's briefing purposes. But nobody has to stop practicing. You guys feel free to stay out on track and keep warming up as we get closer to the qualifying here. Apologies for the coughing. All right, so it is week 4, unless my math eludes me again, which is totally possible. This is Laguna Seca. I got that one right because it's up in the top left corner of my screen. And we're about to have some fun. Last week was really crazy in both leagues, honestly, road and oval. So hopefully this week is a little bit less crazy in a crashy kind of way, but more fun in a racy kind of way. And with this group, I know that's definitely possible. So looking forward to you guys having some epic battles here in the desert. I'd just like to reiterate a couple things. First off, this is a for fun league above all else. So on-track incidents are going to happen. We're pushing race cars past the limits of what they should be doing, and incidents will happen, and it will not be on purpose most of the time. So when incidents do happen, under no circumstances is it appropriate to call out other drivers or scream or get upset into the mic. If you need to scream or get something out or be mad, do all of it before you key up the mic button. Race control will review any post-race incidents, specifically ones that will be brought to my attention. If any penalties need to be handed out, though I'm really not looking to do that unless anything super severe happens. But obviously, please bring anything to my attention that you see that should be an incident, and we can definitely talk. I'll always talk, and I save every replay so we can reference it on my end. Let me think here. We've got 10-minute qualifying right after this session for you guys. You've got 3 laps, which is one more than some other leagues would normally do, so you can your best of 3. And then we're going to roll right into our Heat 1, which is a little 15-minute sprint race. For those that are using a fuel calculator, we've run into issues with this. There is a requirement to set a lap count for both the Heat and the feature, but it is never going to go off of the lap count. It will always go off of the time. So if you look like you're being overfueled massively in the feature, you probably are, because it's probably going off of the laps, which will never hit 40 or 45, whatever it's set at. So try to use your math appropriately, all that stuff, so you're not sitting in the pits getting too much fuel, but also don't underfuel too. That's also bad. So that's the thing. Yep. Okay. Thanks, Jimmy. A little data for you there, guys. He says 0.59 or 0.6 gallon to be safe per lap on consumption there. So it should help out your math a little bit. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything, just a few incidents last week, a lot of which came forth due to single car incidences or people just try to get a handle on this new tire model and everything, which it is slippery. So, pay that attention. But also, we do have a pretty diverse field as far as skill and all that. So, you know, work with guys, don't run people over. But also, if you're on the getting past end of things, don't hit the brakes in the straightaway and stop or do things that will make people not sure that you were going to do that. You definitely want to be predictable and all that fun stuff. So please, please, please just run your line, communicate with the drivers that are around you. If you're trying to let them go or whatever, say that or broadcast it, with your car and getting out of the racing line, all that kind of stuff to be more predictable. And ultimately, yeah, have fun, guys. We're going to be rolling into qualifying. If anybody has any questions or anything, that's what I'm here for. Thank you very much, guys. See you out there. Oh, yay. Jeff, I did not copy if you were trying to say something.
I appreciate it, but I was making sure I had the right button keyed and mapped.
10-4. All right.
I appreciate the mic check, though.
Got to do something productive up here, man. All right. I think who we're going to ride on board with here, but I'm thinking a Leighton is a good pick to start with. Whew, let's pull up the stat sheet, for a minute, shall we, and see how exactly our season has gone so far for these drivers. I'm, excuse me, gonna pull up Sim Racer Hub if I can. Oh, up over here, Road League here. Tubes. So last week was rough for a lot of folks. Last week we saw Tiago enter our lives and absolutely wreck shop from start to finish. Kerry Brooks, I believe, had him dead to rights until a short fueling situation kind of took him out of contention, which is a big bummer. But still, great racing up front from all of those guys. And, specifically relating to a Leighton, he had a great qualifying session, qualifying second, I believe, but got knocked way down the scoreboards for the heat race there. The 15-minute sprint did not have greatest showing there, and then kind of clawed his way back into the feature as he would. So he is currently sitting in third. I'm sorry, he finished third. In the standings, he is currently sitting third. Gosh darn it. Sitting maybe like about 80 or 70 so points off of Corey Abbott, who has the lead currently. So he's looking to continue his momentum here. Not with that turn, though, unfortunately, as Leighton is in the sand. You have to try to reel that one back in. So they get 3 laps, though. All good. Brandon Ritchie, who we saw squeak into the session at the last minute here in the Sparko Mercedes, rocketing his way into lap 1 and trying to get himself a time posted. Looking really solid. I love the black, the blue, the silver, and the white. Such a pretty car. So be a little bit biased there, but you have Mr. Ben Miller, Ferrari gang. Very similar colors. Run the same scheme whole time. I think he really likes that one, so good for him. And Miller finds himself in P5 in the standings. He had a quiet but pretty successful week last week. I say so myself. I think he was 10th, so pretty average, I would say. Not his highlight, but not his worst either. So Definitely had some ups and downs there too. Started to claw his way back up, so um, pretty neat to see. Looking for some more consistency out of him as we go forward, but current trajectory, having him in fifth in the points, definitely a good showing from him here. Uh, we'll do good. So let's keep an eye on Ben. I think he's going to be a lot of fun. Got Jeff Oakes rolling out of the pits right now in the Red Bull. Porsche, got a lot of Porsches in the field tonight, which is not an issue, I don't think. Jeff is currently fourth in points. He is the first driver outside of the thousands club for points as he sits at 884, a solid just under 200 points off of Leighton in third, but um, he definitely looks to build on his momentum and kind of that quiet, I'm just not going to make any mistakes and let everybody else do their thing around me kind of thing. So I definitely respect that as he looks to kind of build his consistency and have a great showing. And that is a very sharp rocket ship he's piloting tonight. So it'll be cool to see him get that thing up towards the front. We'll go ahead and take a look at the current standings here as Corey Abbott currently has the pole with a 121.822, exactly 1/10 off of what he could do in practice. As we see him currently on his second lap now, as we'll ride along with his. As soon as I look at him, he goes right in the sand. I didn't do it, Corey. It wasn't me. Um, but awesome looking ride. Always brings a great show to the table. Had a very rough week last week, lots of self spins and stuff, and he was very frustrated. He got a lot of practice in, and the race parameters didn't line up as we run a generate weather. So the track was, I think, a lot cooler where he had practiced, and then when he got into the race session, it was a lot slippery on him, and he was just having a tough time coping with that. But he does not seem to be struggling much at all tonight, as he's going to bring it across for his second lap. That will not count because he got into the stand there a little bit, but still, I believe, retains the pole over a Leighton, who we had talked about already. A little loose into turn one there for Corey, but I'm sure he can bring it around. We'll check back on him later. Kerry Brooks has currently finished all of his laps. He's got a 122.3, so 3/10 slower than his practice time, but probably a little bit more conservative because the laps have to count, and you only get 3 of them. We ride on board with Jimmy, whose first lap was a 122.4. Looking to possibly build up a little bit here as we'll see him go extremely wide on the final corner. Excuse me. Hey, and it will invalidate that lap. Oh, man. Hold on a second, guys. All right. Sorry, I had to get a cough drop going. Pretty rough. As we saw, Jimmy invalidated lap 2, and then his lap 3, it looks like he went off as well, but that hasn't counted yet, so he's going to have the opportunity to get around one more time if he has enough time to do so, but I'm not sure he does with the pace lap there still that he has to run to get up to time. Brian Beeman manages 4th place, and he is done with his 122.585. Just under 2/10 slower than his practice, but still a solid performance from him. Ben Miller manages 6th currently, 123.5. Andrew Hardcastle, we haven't talked about yet, the 123.8. Logan Key with a 124.2. Joe Gregory with a 124.6. Harrison Ellis with a 124.7. Will Rempe with a 124.8. Kyle Foster with a 124.9. We've got all the 124s accounted for, basically. Jeffrey Oakes, we talked about earlier, is currently starting his final lap Lap 2 was invalidated. Lap 21 was a 125.3, so he'll start his third lap here. And I believe he is the only person currently running. Did Brandon Ritchie invalidate? No, he invalidated the first two. So we'll jump in the roll bar cam here with Jeffrey and take a ride. As he goes around his final lap here at Laguna Seca, is going to feed it into the banked left-hander here. Got one sharp left-hander coming up. It comes at you a little blind. It's a tricky spot as he handles that well, feeds the car in. Now we're coming up on the infamous corkscrew. Lots of corners on this track are very hard to see or blind coming up, but he hits his braking point well. Feeds it left and then right. Right on the rumbles. This is a great job. Just a couple corners to go now. A left, a right, and then a left. The downhill is our penultimate here. Got to watch out for that storm drain on the outside. Oh, he's going to get loose. Oh, that's not what he wanted to see on his final lap. Ah, I bet he was looking at the relative too. That looked like an absolute bomber of a lap. Unfortunate for Jeff. Very unfortunate. Ugh. That's not what he wanted to see for sure, but it was a great looking lap either way. So happy for him there, but we are on to the heat session here, guys. So this will be, excuse me, will be where I start to focus more on race control than looking pretty. All right, drivers, just a quick reminder, this is a standing start. I do not mean to poke fun at anybody for previous events. I simply want to remind you all that you do have to shift the vehicle into first gear in order to take off, and just be mindful of some folks not getting as good a start as others, as we've had a couple incidents on the line as the vehicles get going. So, just be mindful. Thank you. Hey, I got my voice
So what
back
you're
there for a
saying is
second.
don't run into the person behind me and me in front of me?
I want to see you run into the person behind you. That would be sick.
It might take me a lot of laps, but eventually, if you gave me enough time.
Start in reverse.
Yeah, but then that's not behind you, that's in front of you, and that's no fun.
Green, green, green.
All right, we've got smoke out of every car so far. Not a great start for Ben Miller there as we see him kind of choke up and a few other cars around him trying to get it sorted, but everybody is off and running so far, which is good. As we're riding on board here with Brandon Ritchie, we've cleared Chris Schuessler, who's now currently behind us, and we're eyeing down. I'm trying to get used to some of the cars because I don't remember them. So this is Kyle Foster. He's our GT guy. This is Harrison's car. Okay, that's I almost called it Neapolitan colors, but that's not what that is. But yeah, no penalties so far for anybody. Richie having to get hard on the brakes there to get that all sorted out. But getting through though, we're starting to single file up here a little bit, which is good. Everybody can kind of just get on their horse and go. Good, just got to get woed up for the corkscrews. Everybody gonna make it through. Don't see any spun cars. Looks like we're good. A double check for black flags. Nobody got anything through there. I think we're hunky-dory. Yep, we do have a car wide. 2 cars wide. Looks like Kyle Foster on a death trajectory there, but he does manage to re-enter, and very safely, I might add. Not quite sure what happened. We had a car go off that I don't see. Back this up a little bit here and see if I can... Oh, okay. That was one of the Murdoch garage rides. That was Will Rempe. Okay. And he's moving again. I thought I saw the car looking a little bit. Oh, man, we do have an incident at the front. Andrew Hardcastle and a Leighton Norgard are around. Let's go ahead and check out what happened here. It looks like a Leighton is already spinning a lot sooner. Just loses control of his car all by himself, and then as Hardcastle's going to come around, he's going to spin and do the exact same thing right in front of him. Looks like everybody is going to sneak through, though, which is good.
Go ahead and pass on the left.
Caught up here. Eaton sneaking around Chris Schuessler as he's going to try to get it back, but he's messed up a little bit. Oh, Chris is around. Chris is going to wait for Hardcastle to get going, and then going to rocket up towards the front here. Right on board with Corey Abbott as he's in P1 with Kerry Brooks chasing him like he has all season. In P2, a very clear breakaway with these two. So far, Brian Beeman holding Mr. Consistency in P3 right now. Doing a heck of a job, but Jimmy Hayden all over him in P4. Looking to make something happen. Oh, but Jimmy's going to catch a little bit of that turtle shell there and lose a little bit of ground. Ben Miller is watching this all happen through his windshield. He recovered from his so-so start of the race there. So a couple spins. Nothing crazy. Got a pair of BMWs in the middle of the field here. Logan Key and Joe Gregory. 6th and 7th respectively. Bill Rempe sitting in P8. Knocking the sand out of his ride after a little penultimate sand surfing there. Jeff Oakes is right behind him in P9. Harrison Ellis in P10. Getting through the corkscrew, and then we're back to Brandon Ritchie. Kyle Foster, the Leighton making his charge, and Hardcastle is back around Chris. And this looks like he's struggling a little bit tonight. Laguna Seca is an extremely difficult track, so I am not surprised to see a few drivers having some early issues here. Checking the info tab, so we have increased track temp by 5 degrees. As it gets into the feature, I have a bad feeling that we're going to see the track get very, very slick. In comparison to what these guys were practicing for up to an hour prior to qualifying. Kyle Foster's taking a ride in the sand again, but again he gets it under control and very safely rejoins. Go back up towards the front here again. Brandon Ritchie just kind of trying to stay consistent. P11, take advantage of any mistakes that happen from these guys up here. Jimmy Hayden now on the back end of the other Murdoch garage Porsche. Now he's right behind Will Rempe, so I don't know if Jimmy had... He's got 3 incident points so far, so that definitely could be an off track as Jimmy's going to hang it out left side. Nice outside pass, Jimmy. Will Rempe there, who was a little bit concerned about his entry, overshot it just a little bit there and decided to stay on the brakes to gather it up and salvage. Lots of consistency out here in the front though, which is good. Guys up here running some pretty great laps. Brian Beeman sitting right there. Looks like Brian actually got around Kerry. I'm not sure if Kerry had an incident or what. Kerry's got one off track. Andrew Hardcastle with a black flag. Must have been for cutting the track or something. That's cleared now as a timed flag, it looks like. So that's perfectly normal for road racing. Here now. Let's say 8 minutes. 8 minutes is the timer. Oh, Will, it's so wide. Brandon Ritchie's going to touch. Oh, Will's going to save it. That's not what they wanted to see. Ritchie couldn't get it wound up. Trying to readjust his mid-corner there. That was not what he wanted to do, and walks into the side of Will there a little bit, but Both drivers are going to end up just fine. So that's good. Oh, Logan Key is going to have a little bit of an incident there in the penultimate. I want to check out what happened to him there. He, gets it way out of shape coming out of the penultimate there and gets it into the sand. He's now recovered, but has lost all the way back down to 10th now. He's actually behind a Leighton, who's going to be working on Brandon Ritchie here. That is not what he wanted to do. Jeff Oaks in 7th. Jimmy Hayden is sideways. That's not what he wanted to do. Jimmy is struggling tonight. Specifically with this corner, I've seen him hit this turtle shell, and now he's sideways before he even gets into the corner. Oh man, that's a big slide. Save though. He's back out, but he's got a lot of work to do now. And keep an eye on the Leighton here, who is gonna try to go for a ride around Brandon Ritchie in a corkscrew if he can. Nope. Oh man, Brandon went to the fast travel there and slid right down the slope, and Leighton went wide, but ends up getting him. Get Jeff Oaks and Joe Gregory now sitting in the middle as the consistent duo of drivers. Hanging tight, having some fun. Ben Miller's found himself into 4th now, just staying super quiet and putting his nose down and getting stuff done. Kerry Brooks in P3. Chasing after the ever-elusive Brian Beeman in P2. And somewhere way up there, I'm going to see if my cameras can capture him. Here he is. Corey Abbott. Redemption from last week, having an absolute awesome start to this race. P1 and not looking back. He has throttled down and driving away. 4.2 seconds across the line last time over Brian Beeman now, and with possibly just under 5 minutes or so left in the race when he crosses the line here. He's not got far to go. Get his 1-2 sweep in the heat and the quali. We'll see if Brian or Kerry has anything to say about it. These three find themselves up to the front more times than they don't. They're very brightly colored cars. Hard to miss them. They wouldn't let you even if you could, so awesome stuff from these guys. The Porsche trio in the top 3. Solid. Ben Miller bringing up the manufacturer Ferrari. P4 says Ferrari a riot to everybody else's Porsche riot. I mean, it's Porsche riot, but, you know, Ferrari can have fun too, which is good, and I'm glad he is. Actually, Ben scored this ride trying to get into some endurance racing. Decided to join the D-Class road events in the Ferrari Challenge, where it's all Ferrari GT3s. Get his safety rating and his I rating up enough to want to compete in an endurance race, and then had an absolute blast doing it. That was really cool to see, just to show that you put in enough effort, you really can make anything happen. The safety rating trick is to just not care where you finish at first. You can get into series that you want to race with, then you can go get you some positions, but until then, just keep your nose clean. You can obtain pretty much any license you want to with that tactic. Just make sure that you will try to get some driving around other people. Not completely out of the know on how that works. Joe Gregory having himself a pretty great race, sitting at P5. That seems to be a common number for him. The Six Sigma Winter Road League for 2022. Red Bull BMW. Gosh darn solid. And you look behind him, it's Jeffrey Oaks, who should not be checking his mirrors right now, but if he did, he would see that gosh darn Leighton Norgard, who is just, God, he's got to be flying. What the heck is his fastest lap? 22.3? I compare that to Corey. 22.3, so he is on pace with Corey Abbott right now. That is just how stinking fast the Leighton is. Trying to recover from that early race spin, and he seems to have those maybe once a race. He's going to find himself spinning or having some sort of incident that may or may not be caused solely by him or one or two other drivers, but he then has this absolutely epic comeback, and sometimes he get himself right up there in condition to win it. Now, the only winners so far this season are Corey Abbott for week 1 and week 2, and then week 3, we had Thiago Fernandez win it. Thiago, we miss you, by the way. I hope you're doing good, man, and can't wait to see you come join us for another race. But he had an absolute blast at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, where Corey did not. But Leighton, I think, is really looking to win. Put him in an oval car, and he absolutely kills it. He's got the first 3 wins of the season under his belt for oval. Took the hat trick there. As Jeff Folks is just going to let Leighton sail right on by. Leighton probably has about no issues with that, so that's cool. See those two racing pretty cleanly. And up in 9th now, Will Rempe. Doing pretty gosh darn good. I don't know why I skipped so far back there. Got Jimmy as well. That's who I'm looking for. Jimmy's in P8. He's got a 122.6 under his belt, so he is for sure not running the fastest laps on the track right now, but he's definitely got some speed. And just about everything he drives, this guy can make it work. I think he's just a little out of practice with the GT3 cars. I'll look to see him turn it on later in the season here once he gets his mojo back. But, oh man, that was almost a bad corner for him too there as he catches the sand with his outside tires. But, excuse me, I'm thinking Corey Abbott's probably on his final lap here as we see him pulling out of the first corner there. Yeah, because lap times they're running are 1:22, and he crossed the line at 13:55, so he's definitely going to cross after 15. So this is going to be our final lap. Ryan Beeman in P2, Kerry Brooks in P3, kind of up there on an island right now. Those two, 4 and 8 seconds respectively off of Corey. Then we go back one more, and it's Ben Miller, 18 seconds behind the leader, so 10 seconds off of Kerry in 3rd. And Joe Gregory, a good 5 seconds behind him with a Leighton. Now, just another
Corey, I'm so sorry about that, bud.
3 or 4 seconds behind him. What?
It's still running. You're good, man.
Uh-oh. What happened there? Oh. Chris just had a incident there for sure. That's too bad. But we're going to be crossing the line here. Let me back the cars up here a little bit. So Ben Miller in 4th. We got our top 3. Joe Gregory is going to be 5th. Leighton 6th. Jeff Folks is rounding the corner for 7th. Jimmy Hayden 8th. Rempe's going to be hitting the brakes for the final corner. Let's see if the car takes it. Looks solid. Gives it the gas. He looks like he's got P9. Kyle Foster's going to bring it home in 10th. Got a little race here for 11th. Oh, Harrison gets a little bit loose trying to run underneath. Looks like Andrew Hardcastle, but he's not going to get it done. Hardcastle had a heck of a lap too. Logan Key now behind both of those guys, so he's going to end up 13th. There's Brandon Ritchie, 14th, and Chris Schuessler took it into the pits. What an exciting race. All right, guys, heat race down. Got a little 5-minute warm-up or break here. Go ahead and stretch it out, cool it off. Very respectful racing there, great communication, very safe re-entries. Thank you guys all for that. We had the incident there that happened right at the end with Chris and Corey, and I'm not saying this to pick on anybody. I just kind of want to walk through what happened. So Corey is the leader, catching up to the back of Chris, who wants to let him go because he knows that Corey is faster. But it's an incident where Chris is trying to pull out of the way, but he pulls too far, gets into the sand while he's on the brakes, and the car spins. And this is just another one of those examples of when I talk about when I say, don't overdo the courtesy. When you're trying to let somebody go, it's okay, if they catch up to you and they don't immediately get to pass you because you're a little bit slower. But sometimes when you pull out all the stops and really try to pull out of the way, it can make the situation even worse on accident. And I know, Chris, there was no malice in your intention. You did not want to do that. And I know that was terrifying to you, but it did not hurt anybody else, and you're fine. But just when I say, you don't have to go out of your way like that to get out of somebody's way. That's all I'm saying is, sometimes it can happen and be even worse without that being your intention. So, but otherwise, great race, guys, and looking forward to seeing how the feature goes. 40 minutes, exciting.
And I appreciate that. Thanks, Bud. Yeah, Corey, I got your note, dude. Sorry, I almost wrecked you at the end. Just trying to stay out of the lead of those couple cars that were up front. So my bad, Ben. I will work on not going out of the way too far.
Yep, nope, 10-4. I'm sure Corey appreciates trying to get out of the way. Everybody does, but you're still racing too, and slowing down so much. Sometimes the speed difference can be what kills you, not necessarily the attempt to get out of the way. So, just do what you think is right, and you'll figure it out, and you'll find some speed. But if you keep your speed maintained as well, instead of slowing down too much, sometimes if you really want to be the good guy and get out of their way, you can ask them where you want them to, or they want you to go, or whatever. Work with them that way as well. We do that in Oval a lot, where the guy that's about to get past will ask, "Hey, leaders, where do you want me?" Stuff like that. They can kind of direct you. It's a little bit more tricky on a road course, but there's some options out there. And again, just you've got your race too, so don't throw everything away just to let Corey pass. He's not that important. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, 10-4, I appreciate that. He sent me a message. We're all good. Thank you.
Yeah, just hold your line. It's their job to get around you.
Yep, 100% on that. Totally. It doesn't mean park it on the apex, though. There are some conditions to that for sure, but it is in general the passing car's job to get around the car they're trying to pass safely. So, but heads up and good communication, I think will always win out in the end. And like I said, I mean, stuff's happening so fast, guys, that you can have the best intentions in the world, but 3 inches one way is a disaster just because. So it just happens. But we're racing, we're having fun, and we got lucky. Nothing happened there. So yeah, I'm all good. I just like to turn things into a teaching moment in an environment where nobody's upset, because you can learn a lot better when you're not pissed off. So
By the way, Logan, I think you said sorry to me in the race. It's all good. I don't know if Ben saw that save, but it was worth a watch.
I got 33 seconds left, and I'm gonna go find it.
Last lap in between the last two corners. How I held on to that, I have no idea. I should have been dead.
Okay, so we're gonna take a look at. Oh, what a great battle you guys had. Oh man, you guys had a whole battle and I missed it. Oh my god, this looked so fun. A little too wide action
You
with
weren't
Harrison.
watching me drive all by myself, where you been?
I don't know what I was watching because I missed the incident with Chris too, so I don't know what I was watching. I have to go back and watch.
Yeah, we had a good three-way battle going there for the last little bit of that race. It was fun.
Yeah, Jimmy, let's do it some more now.
Hey, be reminded, this is actually the last road course race of the year, at least officially 2022, so let's make it a good one.
Wow.
I'd say go out with a bang, but I feel like that's not a good way to put it in a racing. Just, yeah, have fun, guys.
Green, green, green.
Oh no. Carry spins. That's not good. What happened there? Oh, carry. Oh, and Ben Miller goes around too. Oh my gosh, did he have any help? No, he just went around himself. Oh my gosh, it's pandemonium up here at the front of the field. Trying to get Jeff's penalties cleared. I don't know why.
Right side carry. Hi, Chris.
Excuse me. Owie. Wow, wow, wow. Hardcastle's got a big old dent in his right front or right rear as well. Man, it is craziness up here.
Appreciate everybody in the corkscrew being courteous there. That could have been nasty.
Yeah, that could have gotten real bad.
Gosh, I am missing everything cool. Super unfortunate. Just checking back through to make sure everybody's doing okay behind us here. All right, so we're going to go... Oh, Hardcastle. Hardcastle taking a little ride in the grass. Gonna rewind real quick before anything happens and check out what happened back in the corkscrew because I want to know things. Ooh. That was super sketchy, but yep, no, everybody was very patient. All the way to the back. Oops. That is. Go away. Oh, Logan! You go for an awesome move. Said, I'm not going to follow you through the corkscrew again. What a move. Oh, and Brandon Ritchie almost gets shoved out of the way.
Right side, bud, right side.
Super close racing with these guys. It's freaking awesome. Terry Brooks trying to mount his revenge tour
Thanks,
here.
Chris.
And it starts with the back end of Andrew Hardcastle here as he's going to have to try to maneuver him. 12 seconds, the gap currently up to Corey Abbott. We'll see how he can maneuver through that. Oh man, Jeff Oakes. I think that's Jeffrey Oakes. Have I got that right? Yeah, Jeff. Something happened there. Not 100% sure. He just kind of let everybody go. Bad corner. Hey, Jeff, are your penalties finally clear, man? I kept trying to clear them, and now it looks like the flag is actually gone.
Yeah, I think so finally, thank you.
Yeah, I saw the start, you rolled a little bit, but then you waited, so I wasn't going to hold you to it, and then it just refused to let me clear it. So, sorry about that, but it looks good now.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Actually, I put in gear before I could clutch in.
Oops. So he got it in gear that time, but he forgot to take the clutch out. Yeah, that'll do it. Oh, brother. Well, we're back to being spread out again, which for my nerves is probably not a bad thing. Checking our boys up front here, and Corey Abbott is not as far ahead of Brian Beeman as maybe he wants to be. Brian's actually right within striking distance in this maybe lesser known name. Maybe you've heard of a Leighton. I don't know. He's back in third again, doing a Leighton things and catching people and being really fast. So that's kind of cool. Jimmy Hayden right behind him in fourth. It's awesome. Guys are kind of the 4-car-ish breakaway. No blankets big enough to cover them, but 3.2 seconds isn't that bad for sure. Take that. Yeah, these guys get it on as time goes on. Joe Gregory's sitting in fifth in his, I want to say his natural habitat, but dang, that number sure comes up quite often, being super quiet and very solid tonight. No issues with that BMW. And our other BMW, Logan Key, in sixth. Starting to drive away from this massive cars behind him there and the corkscrew incident and all that fun stuff. So that was really cool. Glad we could get all that out of the way, but as you can see, there is definitely not a lot of separation at all. Hardcastle dropped way off pace here again. Corey were racing for it not too long ago. It's not good. Hardcastle's just not having a good go of it right now. How many instances does he have? He has 4, so he has the most. Go ahead and he has maybe 4 off tracks, but does have damage. So this is where it's going to get interesting because Kerry Brooks had a spin in turn 1 of all places of the feature. That's not happened before, like in the S's at Watkins Glen or anything. No, I've never seen it. So he's got to claw his way back through all of these cars that I do believe he's got a little bit of speed on. And while he's doing this, he is going to have to manage a fuel stop, which historically he has struggled with getting the calculation right. Last week he underfueled the car when he had the wind locked up, which is super unfortunate, and just beating his head off the side of his racing seat, trying to get stuff sorted. But yeah, he's really going to be giving his effort to try to get around, but he's already lost 7 seconds to Corey since the scoring updated him 12 seconds off the lead after he had spun on the first lap. So Kerry's really going to have to push the issue here to get around some of these guys. He's got a great run on Harrison here, and he's going to go too wide with him on the straightaway. Old racing street stock buddies from Downshift, Harrison Ellis and Kerry Brooks. 2x2 as they head towards turn 1. Ellis is not quite going to give it up for him. Kerry's going to take the narrow route. Harrison pushed way wide with a little bit of mutual contact there, but all good. Both cars still fine. Excuse me. And on to the next target. Goodness. Cough drop's not helping, guys. Sorry. So now Kerry will find himself in 9th place. And he's got his sights set on our favorite Ford GT entry, Kyle Foster Moore, rocking the 68 baby blue rocket ship. I have that lime green Porsche in his mirror for a little while, I think, unless he decides, oh man, he gets loose. Oh, and Kyle Foster's going to spin across the track, but he saves no contact. Ready, buddy, he's going to have to get that car rolling again, and he does. He's pointed in the right direction, and rolls right back off the track again as he was concerned about hitting somebody there. Now he's going to whoa the throttle up because he's going to start slipping and sliding. It's like everybody else, it's going to cycle on through and maneuver him quite nicely. Will Rep's coming with a pretty good head of steam here. Hopefully he gets it woed up. Does. Foster rolling again. That's good. Yeah, just a really bad spot to get out of shape, but got it pointed in the right direction and then got it going again. So enough about the mirror concept there. Kerry Brooks now up to P8. Going to be working on Brandon Ritchie as he gets closer to his bumper. We'll check back in with him in a little while, as it's still pretty quiet between the two BMWs here. Oh, and Brian Beeman spun. Oh my goodness. That's not good. Go back in and check to see how it happened, but Looks like it was just another one of those occurs. Oh man, he surfed that turtle shell there. That big red inner bump, and Leighton's going to get around him, and so is Jimmy, just barely. He bails to the wall so hard he hits it. Now he's got some front end damage for that. That's not what Brian wanted. Now Joe's going to end up in 4th for the moment, and Brian is still right behind him. So that leaves Jimmy Hayden, Leighton Norgard, and still Corey Abbott way up there as our podium drivers so far at the line. About 10 minutes into this contest so far, so half an hour to go and 1 pit stop cycle if all goes well for all of these guys. It's now a Porsche. Well, it was when Brian spun too. Lots of Porsches up at the front here, and we've got Chris Schuessler getting caught by the leaders here. It'll be interesting to see how they navigate in a pretty similar spot. Corey might catch him right after the corner here.
Right side.
Thanks, Chris.
Chris, you're just going to have to take the corkscrew now, buddy. Done that. Cleanly, I might add, as Leighton comes in with 1.5 cups of steam. Flying on through. Chris is trying to set up a good way to give him the pass there, and he does. Leighton rockets on through. Jimmy Hayden was next, but as you can see, Jimmy has done a no-no again somehow and gotten himself very far separated off the back end of Leighton's car. So much so that Joe Gregory's right there. And guess what? Brian Beeman's right there. Just can't get away from these Murdoch Garage Porsches tonight. Unbelievable. Oh, and Brady Ritchie goes for a ride. And I'm rewinding and I'm rewinding and I'm rewinding and I don't see. There's Kerry Brooks. Oh my gosh. What did you do, Kerry? Now I have to go back and look. Oh, Kerry pitted. Oh. Well, that's interesting. So Kerry Brooks thinking that he may have the fuel strategy correct now. Doesn't have that corkscrew correct, but that's okay. I don't talk about that because I can't drive for crap, so that's fine. Be interesting to see, though, as Kerry Brooks gets his pit stop out of the way extremely early and is now going to have some fantastic open running in front of him. Should definitely be interesting. Okay, Ritchie recovered from his earlier spin there, is in 8th now. Harrison Ellis is P7. Logan Key is up to P6. Still the same top 5, but Brian is looking to make some headway here, I'm sure.
Top 5.
Machine there. Oh, man. Everybody caught Chris all at once there, but Chris held his line. Very well done by the 61 car. And now Brian and Joe are going to have it out. And Brian just flies on by. What an exit that Brian had out of that corner. I don't know. It almost looked like Joe might have even lifted for him there just to ease the spot away. But still great drive by Brian. Very courteous pass given by Joe. Now we will see
Left side.
what happens.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you, Chris.
Chris letting a few folks shuffle on by. Kerry Brooks looks like Hardcastle let him by. Hardcastle is about to have a cool moment, I think. With this absolutely trashed car in the right rear specifically, at least, is going to pop right back to good. So that's awesome. Fast repairs are neat. Very, very neat. We need more fast repairs in real life. The problem is that would encourage people to do stupid stuff way more often. The world needs less of that, so. Jimmy Hayden is currently in P3, and Brian Beeman is sick of it. That 41 machine is all over the back of the 24 car here. I can't look away. Guys, we're going to have to take a look at this one. We might have to see this one through, but Brian is there, and he is not interested in giving it up anytime soon. Jimmy wants to
Left
stay
side.
in third. Brian's got that little buckle of damage there on the front end from going back out into the tires. I'm sure he'll have his team patch that up once he comes into the pits for his fuel stop, but as it stands, it's definitely not helping him on the straightaways with the aero. But with the draft, definitely might have something here for Jimmy. We'll see what happens. He had an awesome exit of the final corner there onto the front stretch and across the finish line. We'll see if he can do it again. Jimmy, oh man, Jimmy makes a mistake. Brian is going to capitalize. They're too wide. Brian will clear him before the corkscrew. My voice is getting even worse as the intensity picks up. This is not a good chart for me. I don't want to see the ratio of bad voice to excitement. I don't want to see it at all. I just want to see cars do cool stuff. That was a great move. Taking advantage of Jimmy's little mishap there. And Jimmy will find himself back outside the top 3 as Brian brings it home. I don't know why Andrew's still in the pits. I don't know what happened there. Hardcastle, you good, buddy? That's not what we want to see. These two are definitely still having it out. Jimmy's not quite done. Not wanting him to walk away into the
Left side.
sunset, for sure. We'll check back up front here as we see Corey Abbott still leading, but Leighton Norgard has brought it to 3.5 seconds. Keeping it tight to the chest for the 21 machine. He is not going to let him go quietly either. Everybody wants to stop Corey's reign of terror in the GT3 league, but maybe everybody didn't want it to be a Leighton, who is also right up there in the points. That would only really help a Leighton, I think. And, you know, other folks are going to have to step up if they want to see some points mix up at the front here. Otherwise,
Left
these
side.
guys are going to absolutely get away with murder, which is, you know, maybe not too bad for Corey or Leighton, but for everybody else, maybe not optimal. We'll see what happens. Kerry Brooks brought it down. Actually beat Corey Abbott on that lap with his pit stop. I'm not quite sure how much time will be lost with the pit stop cycles here. I don't know where it's going to line up, but I'm very interested to see
Right side.
how all of that's going to shake down. As Kerry is now going to have to start navigating through some traffic here as we see Jeff Oakes, Kyle Foster, and Brandon Ritchie all relatively close to him. In about 12 seconds. Looks like Kyle's going to come into the pits, though, so he's going to make it one less. Jeff Oakes remains. Check the time boards here one more time. Watch the numbers update. This is your distance. Kerry did lose a little bit of time to Corey that lap, but he gained a spot. Very, very interesting. Back up to the pair of Porsches at the front here. Jimmy Hayden, Brian Beeman, 4th and 3rd respectfully. Brian can't drive away. Jimmy, you won't let him. Awesome battle between these two. Having it out for each other. And just as it looked like Leighton had pulled a little distance back in on Corey, he loses it again. Looks like Corey had another 3-star lap. And he's tough. Like I said, it's the consistency thing. You know, you can be fast. And there are people that are fast that set super awesome lap times, but man, you got to bring the consistency against these dudes because they are going to run, you know, that close to amazingly fast lap. Every sticky lap that's not going to help a Leighton at all. He is all sorts of in the sand trap there, really showing off the Porsche's off-road capabilities, but that wasn't in my pamphlet for the GT3 version there, so maybe he got a different one than I did. Definitely not optimal for his lap times there, and not helping him catch Corey at all, but you know he's trying. That's why that's happening. So it's a tough track. Talked about it already. Last week, the grass was like ice, though, and these guys were just sliding right into the wall. But this week, it seems to be a little bit more recoverable. This is Johnny. Respects the choice of the Ford. Hey, Johnny. Yeah, man, it's a solid pick. He runs it every week. Kyle Foster, rocking the GT. It's what he's got, and so it's what he runs, and I respect it. I mean, it's an option, and it does just fine for him. So good. It's kind of cool to see an American hot rod out there. Good for him. Checking back in on our racers here. So Kerry Brooks has successfully passed Jeffrey Oakes, and will now start working on catching Harrison Ellis. Currently about 22, 23 seconds up the track as you see Harrison going into turn 1. There's Kerry starting the straightaway there, so Kerry's got a ways to go, but he is running some pretty good laps. 123.3, 122.8 that last lap. We'll check in with Corey. 121.9 on lap 4. So Corey was absolutely flying at the beginning of the race, but now he's
Thanks, Will.
got himself back on a more of a, consistent pace, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Lots of folks sitting in the pits. Oh, Jimmy Hayden. Oh, man. He's all sorts of broken. That's not good. That's not good at all. Heavy suspension damage for the 24 machine. He's crap walking. I don't think. Oh, man. Yeah, he is going to spin. Just trying to will this car. Yeah, you see the right rear tire there is just angled outward. I'll try to back up here a little bit, maybe get an idea of what had happened. Just, oh man, he caught all of that, and then it's going to go out and hit the tires, and he got Porsche. Man, that thing broke, and that broke good. Well, I guess that's a good time as any to go in and get your pit stop taken care of for sure, but not the way that he wanted to do it. Faster pair will get him back on pace, though, so that's something that he can talk about. Have Corey Abbott finish up his 16th lap, still staying out. Some really, really good looking laps. Which is nice as he's going to drive by Jimmy there, who is just ducking into the pits now. Good. Going to throw it on a TV3 of what's our closest battle on track right now? Maybe Logan Key and Ben Miller. So keep an eye on that. I'm going to take a quick IRL pit stop, and I'll be right back, folks. So it doesn't look like there was any position change there. And check the relatives. Crazy there. Looks like Brandon Ritchie is starting to run Ben Miller down a little bit. Oh yeah, Ritchie's running Ben Miller down a lot of bit. Ritchie is there. Simple. It looks like a Leighton may have pitted as well. Keep an eye here on these guys. Oh, and Richie's in the sand. That's not going to help him. I want to keep an eye on a Leighton. So Leighton's coming out of the pits now. So he got scored 34 seconds when he was 7 seconds back, but that might be when he hit pit wall. So it'll be interesting to see what cars he's coming around. Yeah, definitely still a good bit in front of Kerry Brooks there. There's a minute and 5 seconds out. So it is not looking good for the 77 machine trying to catch back up after all those incidents. Jimmy Hayden currently scored as the first car 1 lap down, now sitting in P10. And having an issue with the corkscrew as well, fighting that Porsche, man. He is struggling tonight. The feature specifically. Not the race that he wanted to have. Joe Gregory all the way up to 3rd now. That might have something to do with the pit cycle.
Thanks, Chris.
Check in. Oh, Joe has not pit yet. Ryan Beeman coming in to service his machine. Or he did not come with him. Ryan peeling out of the pits. Gonna see if he can stay ahead of a Leighton. Thinking he would just that. Maybe. Wait, did I lose a Leighton? No, that's Kerry. Brandon Ritchie's off in T1. Oh, that's going to be a long recovery time. That's not good. There's Brian Beeman. There's Logan Key. Oh, so Leighton did stay ahead of him. Leighton is a bit ahead now of Brian Beeman. Looks like he was, so that makes sense now that I'm trying to remember what had gone down previously. So we've got Corey Abbott in first, who has not pitted yet. Brian Beeman is not in second. It's going to be Joe Gregory in P2. Who's also not pitted yet. Seemed like a great lap for Corey, though. If Corey was... Wow. Yeah, I don't know. Did he pit? No, Corey did pit. Okay. I'm losing my mind, guys. So Corey pit. Joe Gregory has not pit yet, and he's still out there in 2nd place, but when he does bring it in, he's going to filter a few positions down to Leighton just behind him in 3rd. Now 10 seconds off of Corey after the pit stop. Logan Key finds himself in 4th, but again, no pit stop for fuel yet, so he's going to find himself coming in sooner than later. So Brian Beeman would realistically attain P3. As it stands, Harrison Ellis is now in P6, but with no pit stop, so he'll cycle back through. And Kerry Brooks had pitted a while ago. We'll hopefully see if we'll see if that actually was enough fuel in the car to keep that 77 machine going all the way to the end. Just a handful of minutes, over 10 to go. 10 minutes, that is. Oh, Brian. Gonna get the edge on Logan there. Logan's gonna give it to him. Brian Beeman will take 4th place back from Logan. He's now just waiting for Joe to pit, and he has, so Brian's actually gonna jump up to 3rd. Or he is 19 seconds off of Corey, so about 10 seconds or so off of a Leighton. Excuse me. And Kerry Brooks should be benefiting 2 more positions from pit filtering here pretty soon, but he is finding himself 33 seconds off of Leighton and Corey. Sorry, Corey specifically, 22 seconds off of Leighton and a 10 off of Brian. So, going to have to catch these guys about, let's go, about a second a lap faster than Brian if he wants to catch him by the end of this race, which is going to be tough to do as Brian's been having a fantastic night, really in the control. Ray Abbott continues to show his dominance tonight. Happens here. Ben Miller is first, or the last car in the lead lap, I'm sorry. Hope he's just gone a lap down, actually. Corey is really putting a hurting on this field. The top 7. Now the only cars on the lead lap. When this filters on through, he may even... No, okay, hold on. I think Ben was a lot further back now. Jimmy Hayden is the first car 1 lap down. Jimmy is that corner, and Joe is at the finish line, so Corey must be... Yeah, it's heading for the girl. Makes sense. So Jimmy's right behind Corey. Now everything works out in my head, which is dangerous.
Thank you.
So now we find Joe in P5. Having
Thanks, buddy.
himself a grand old time, which is good. Yeah, so Jeff Oakes is going to be trying to catch Jimmy Hayden. Battle for 8th. Quite sure how far off. I gotta get my bearings here. This is where Jeff is. Jimmy's coming into the pits. Oh, Jimmy has hit his 14-point incident. Oh, man. That is not what Jimmy wanted to do at all. He hit his 15 incident
Right
points.
side, fellas.
Everybody else is close. Ben Miller with 9, Will Rempe with 8, Hardcastle and Jeff Oakes with 10, Brendan Ritchie with 14. Excuse me, so he's 1 off track away. Oh, hang on to it. Ooh, 1 off track away from being asked to come down pit road. Probably not something he looks forward to doing. Checking back in on our results here. Ryan Beeman actually running faster, it looks like, than a Leighton. This is caught a Leighton. Probably a little bit of time here. Kerry Brooks staying about consistent with Corey. We lost just a little bit of time there. Corey's still holding a commanding 11-second lead there. We'll see what that updates to at the line here, but Leighton is going to need to figure something out fast. He loses 6/10 to Corey that lap. It's only about 7.5 laps or minutes to go, so maybe 4 or 5 laps possibly. How that math works out when they cross. Oh, late, a little bit of sand action there. Nothing crazy. Brian's really turning it on though. Now to 16 seconds off of Corey. Leighton keeps making these small mistakes, and Brian keeps on it, man. 41 machine might be able to fight for second here or long. Gary is just not having it. 15 seconds behind him is Joe. Got Logan. Harrison, 7th. Jeff Oakes in 8th. Oh, Jeff Oakes is spinning though. That's not what we want to see. Does have a good bit of time to get sorted if he's not stuck here though. Ben Miller just a corner behind now. Right. Steph has gotten that sorted, so that's good. And Miller is now closing in on Chris Schuessler. Oh!
Whoa, Chris. My guy. That is not the place to hit the brake.
Talk about it after, Ben. Just keep driving. Brandon Ritchie's coming down the pits. I think I might know why. Yep, that's a black flag for his 16th incident point. Well, I've been talking about it, and I don't know what's going to happen here, but guys, I'm telling you, Brian is catching a Leighton, and he's catching him kind of fast. He's not going to catch him doing that, though. Why does every time I speak something into existence, it has to die? I mean, before my very eyes. Why does that suck so much? So 11.3, and now he is 16.2. So he lost
Right side, go ahead.
a little time there, which is all good. I don't know if he's going to have enough, though. Kerry Brooks is starting to make some headway as well. But with 28 seconds to go, and another about 14 up to Brian. I don't know if it's destined for him. I don't know if there's a podium spot for the 77 machine or not. If there is, he is going to have to find some nitrous, some jet fuel, or some spike strips maybe to make it happen for himself. But it's been a heck of a recovery drive. I mean, having a self-spin in front of the whole field and getting shuffled all the way to the back just to now come up to 4th. Pretty awesome. Yeah, Johnny. Yep. Oh, that's pretty awesome, man. These downshift boys know how to drive, don't they? It's pretty funny. See it happen. But lots of new faces in here, too, and hopefully we'll get some development going with these guys and can steer them in the right direction. I'm very excited. It has been a lot of fun. Yep, so Brian Beeman's got it down now to 15 seconds again to a Leighton's 12. So Brian is 3 seconds off of a Leighton. They are both catching. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Harrison between the two of them there. So depending upon how this goes down. It's Darren. Hey, Darren. I just read names, man. I don't know things. My bad. Yeah, I talked to Chris Dowden and asked him if he wanted to get involved in some adminning again, because I know he put on a heck of a cool FV league for you guys. We've got the GT86 as well, the Toyota league as well. That's or not league, but you know, the car that's in the game now, and it'd be really cool to see that become a thing for sure. So I don't know. There's a lot of potential. I just need to keep the drivers flowing in, and you know, obviously not be creating leagues that we don't have the drivers to fill. There's probably 2 laps to go here. Before we cross the 38.07, so it's gonna have to do this one and probably one more, which is all good. Just double checking the rest of the field here.
Thanks, Chris. Right side, go ahead.
Just letting Corey sneak on by. I have a feeling that Chris is probably going to be a factor, even if he doesn't want to be in this 2-car battle here between Brian and Leighton. you'd be happy to help with that and stuff. Well, that's right on, Darren. We'll have to talk about it for sure, man. I'm need that, and it's nice to have somebody around for race control too. But obviously, I know folks want to drive. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Race control isn't needed. Like, it's not really needed tonight either because it's just a road race. But it's always nice to have too, to make sure that your messages are getting across, and so people can really get their feedback and learn too, I think. But we are into the final lap now. You see them waving the white flag. So 1 to go. Brian is getting so much closer to a late, and I don't know if he's got quite enough in the tank to do it. But he's got it down to just over 2 seconds. Bill.
No worries, Will. You're good.
Out of the way for Corey there. Leighton and Brian are going to be rolling up on Chris here. Will possibly in front of them. I'm not sure how that's all going to go down. And here's Kerry Brooks in 4th. And I think it's Joe Gregory still in 5th. Yeah, so really our closest on-track battle here is Leighton and Brian.
Right side.
Leighton and Brian are going to battle it out. Leighton sneaks on by Chris there. Brian's got 1 corner left, but that is a big gap for 1 corner. It's going to require a mistake from a Leighton. Corey's going to seal the deal. Leighton
making me sweat, Brian.
Is going to get away. P2 for a Leighton. P3 for Brian. Oh, what a race. Chris will come across in 13th. Solid race for him. Harrison 7th. There's Kerry Brooks. He'll bring it home 4th.
Yeah, a rare, consistent pace for me. Fast pace.
Brandon and Kyle here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I cooked my tire. My right front was already down to 65 when I stopped. Yeah, I was wondering if something was wrong with your car.
There's Brandon bringing it home in 11th. Kyle Foster Moore in 12th. Jeffrey Oakes will bring it home 8th. Joe Gregory 5th. Ben Miller 9th. I think that is everybody. Ooh. That was something. Corey Abbott, once again, seals the deal in the GT3 League, sweeps it, qualifying, heat, and feature. This 21 Porsche is absolutely flying this season, guys. Awesome for him. He's going to try to get this thing sideways without crashing. Almost. Almost. It was a great race, guys. A lot of fun to watch. A lot of really close developing battles there towards the end. And that gap closing, I was watching the Leighton Brian. It was getting tight up there, man. But way to stick it out, guys, and hold your spots. That was really cool. Continue to celebrate.
Good race, all. Congrats, Corey. You gotta find a way to stop spinning on the first turn right behind you.
Gone up here and there, but had a lot of fun. Thank you.
Hey, to race you, Kerry, and then you disappeared.
Evidently, I have a knack for that in this league.
Oh man.
Yeah, you need to stop that. That's okay. I hit the curb in turn 3 and almost murdered myself, so lost a bunch of time.
I hit a tire barrier at 11 miles an hour and apparently broke my right rear, because that seems totally realistic.
Yeah, same thing happened to me.
That's par for the course in a Porsche, but I don't know.
I must have a channel muted because I'm not hearing everybody.
I think some folks are talking in drivers and some folks are talking in all teams, possibly. I haven't been paying attention, but that's usually the case.
Oh, okay. That stuff always confuses me.
I just keep everything incoming wide open, but I mean, I'm also not driving, so.
Yeah, I thought I did too, but apparently not.
Well, iRacing, much like Windows, will wait until you get comfortable with your settings and then tell you, well, I'm glad you're comfortable, and now I'm going to change everything. Have fun.
It does indeed. What a pain.
Yeah, I had a few things on this last season patch that it reset.
It does that. Pretty good transition from last week, though. I noticed the cars seemed much more savable, I guess, when they went off track, so that was kind of cool.
I had some monumental screw-ups along with some monumental saves for sure.
Yeah, I think about everybody in the field had a few saves and a few spins. I don't know if I ever saw Corey spin. I think the donuts were the first time I saw him get sideways, but not everybody can be that perfect, you know?
I had a couple moments in the race, I will say.
Yeah, I think everybody has a few of those. It's all good, though. All right, all. Well, just flipping through some replays here or whatever. Ben, I'm gonna reach out if you're still here. We can chat about the incident there, but otherwise, everybody, thank you. Sorry, my voice sucks. The replay is probably not going to be that great for it. I tried, but it keeps getting worse the more I talk. So we've got that, but awesome stuff. Great racing with y'all there, and you make it really easy to race control for this group because you guys are just in it for fun and having working well together. So I appreciate that more than you know. So thank you for that.
Thank you for doing this while you're not feeling well, Ben.
Yep. Hopefully you start feeling better pretty soon.
The good news is they don't have to record my voice tomorrow night, so that's good. I feel fine. It's just I sound like shit, so that's a thing. But thank you. All right, folks. I think that's going to do it for the stream. So thank you guys all for tuning in, having a blast with me, past, present, future. And yeah, we've got Xfinity tomorrow night at Michigan over on PTM. So definitely go check him out, Mr. Chris over on Facebook, and then the replay on YouTube there later. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you all for tuning in and We'll catch you the next episode. Till then, see you guys.